Well, we always love the mayor's focus on money, and he continues to work his magic in Washington, D.C., bringing more funding to Oakland. I might add that today is one of many events of Affordable Housing Week here in the East Bay, and I imagine some of you may have seen a brochure out front. There are other events every day through the 16th of the month, and I hope that you'll have time to go to some of those. This is just one of several. I would like to give a quick opportunity to Stephanie Forbes to come up. Dan Wendell we hadn't seen yet, and Stephanie works for LISC, which is the partner of the National Equity Fund. And Stephanie, if you would just come up for a moment. They're the biggest funder of this project.
Thanks, Phil. Well, I'm absolutely delighted to be here, and I'm sorry Dan couldn't join us. I think he's on his way. This is a tough crowd to follow this morning. You know, I'm struck by a number of things. It's a cloudy day for most of the Bay Area, and it's a very, very bright day in this little corner of East Oakland. You know, we at LISC and our equity arm are all about transforming neighborhoods, transforming places for people, and people to transform places. And I'm struck today by the incredible transformation that everyone in this room has participated in. The other thing I'm struck by is that this originally was war housing. Now I think it's peace housing. And and that peace doesn't just mean units, little checks, check off our boxes. It means that this neighborhood will have the services from a health clinic to a green roof where people can recreate, to parks, to libraries, and that it all comes together. And I know the Oakland Housing Authority and every single member of the team has held that vision, and I salute you. Thanks.
Well said. Now we'd like to call up Dan Soslak. Dan's day job is he's the Director of Resources Community Development. Very talented nonprofit developer. But he's also co-chair of Everyone Home, and he's going to tell you about that.
Morning. What an amazing way to start the week. It's fantastic, inspirational, beautiful project. So I want to talk a little bit about Everyone Home, and then I have a certificate to hand out here. Everyone Home is the countywide plan to end homelessness by the year 2020. It's been adopted by all 14 cities in Alameda County, the county, and dozens of community organizations, including the Oakland Housing Authority. And all of these groups have committed to ending homelessness rather than managing it. The solution to homelessness is housing. Housing that is permanent, affordable, and accessible to individuals and families that are homeless or at risk of homelessness, extremely low-income households impacted by serious mental health issues, and extremely low-income households living with HIV/AIDS. We call this kind of housing an Everyone Home housing opportunity. The plan calls for the creation of 15,000 unique Everyone Home housing opportunities by 2020. We believe that if we can expand the number of housing opportunities to this degree, we can bring an end to homelessness as we know it in the county by that date. Individuals and families with housing crises won't have to spend months and years on the street before they become stably housed, because there'll be enough affordable housing to house everybody. That's an amazing vision. So the Housing Authority is a critical partner in what we're trying to do with Everyone Home, and I'm very proud to actually award our first certificate for the creation of Everyone Home units. This Tassafaronga actually signifies the creation of 63 Everyone Home units today, and so I'm very proud to hand this to Director Gresley and to Phil, and to say thank you and congratulations, and thank you.
Bridget Galka mentioned the importance of getting adequate resources to clean up the site before we could begin construction. So we now present to you from the Environmental Protection Agency the Regional Director, Jared Blumenthal.
Thank you all. As was mentioned, this was war housing. In 1942, the U.S. fought a battle against the Japanese, the Battle of Tassafaronga, and we lost. We now get the opportunity to win that battle, and that's what we're doing today. After being war housing, it went from all kinds of manner of properties. It got turned into an auto shop, it got turned into a trucking depot, it then got turned into a pasta factory, and then sadly it got turned into a methamphetamine lab. So it's gone through every imaginable transformation. None of them were particularly positive. People then look at this land and said, you know what can we do with it? We're not going to do anything with it because it's toxic or it's polluted or we don't know. It could be any of these things. So the Environmental Protection Agency around the country, we've done this. We've spent $400 million and assessed more than 15,000 sites around the country. Goes in and says, you know what? We're going to find out, first of all, what the problem is. We're going to assess the problem. And then we're going to spend the money, in this case, $200,000 to clean up the site. And of all the money that was brought to bear, $72 million to make this a reality, that's not a lot. But you can't do it without that original cleanup. So the cleanup really allowed the development to happen, and we're thrilled to be a small part of that. Secondly, when we think about low-income housing, when we think about people with HIV or mental illness, or the folks in our community that are least able to afford housing, those are the people we should help first when it comes to the environment. And the reason is that the environment really equates directly with money. We're going to save up to 48% on people's energy bills. We're going to save 80% of the amount of water that is normally used. And both those things cost a lot of money. So when we as a community think about saving the environment, let's save the environment first where the people need it most. Thank you.
Just to correct Phil, Phil didn't have his reading glasses on, it's Mr. Blumenfeld. Thank you. Thank you.